are looking, or we will be looking for new employees for my company. Now let this gentleman speak about the B exercise, what you will be doing. So you can see this is the timeline and these are the incidents. Okay, this is 1 hour, in 2 hours, at 9 p.m. Okay, likewise, let him speak.
Let's look at this question again. What will you be doing? Underneath you have a small diagram with 7 different times, and I simply want you to answer these 7 different questions. What will you be doing in 1 hour? What will you be doing in 2 hours? What will you be doing at 9 p.m? And so on. So, if I were to answer these questions, then I would answer in the following way. What will you be doing in 1 hour? In 1 hour, I'll be eating my dinner. What will you be doing in 2 hours? In 2 hours, I will be studying some German. What will you be doing at 9 p.m? At 9 p.m, I'll be having a drink with some friends. What will you be doing at 1 a.m? At 1 a.m, I will be sleeping. What will you be doing at 4 p.m. tomorrow? At 4 p.m. tomorrow, I will be teaching. What will you be doing next week on Saturday? Next week on Saturday, I will be flying home to England from Germany. What will you be doing this time next year? Hopefully, I'll be studying this time next year at university in Berlin. Let's look at this question again. What will you be doing? Underneath you have a small diagram with university in Berlin. Let's look at
So friends, we have talked enough about the continuous future tense and we need to move on to future perfect tense now. Future perfect tense, कोई भी perfect tense होय, so we all know कि past participle of the verb ની requirement होय, plus have, has ની જરૂર પડે. Look at the definition first before we discuss the structure. The future perfect tense is used to indicate those actions that will be completed by a certain time in the future. ભવિષ્યમાં કોઈ ક્રિયા પૂર્ણ થઈ ગઈ હશે, but not later than the specified time. So for an example, આપણે આ timeline ને study કરીએ. This is past tense, this is present and this is future. If this is 6 o'clock right now, okay, so 5 o'clock that is past and after 3 hours it will be 9 o'clock. જ્યારે હું એવું વાક્ય બોલું કે I will have finished dinner by 9 o'clock. 9 વાગ્યા સુધીમાં મેં મારું રાત્રિનું ભોજન જમી લીધું હશે. So that is જમી લીધું હશે. So have finished, will have finished, that is perfect future or future perfect, whatever you say. Above sentence makes clear that at specific time in the future a definite action will get over. Look at this beautiful piece of video to understand the future perfect tense for a little close quarter. આપને યાદ હશે કે યુટ્યુબના વિડીયોનો ઉપયોગ આપણે પાસ્ટ ટેન્સની જ્યારે વાત કરતા હતા ત્યારે પણ કરેલો, અને પરફેક્ટ ટેન્સ જ્યારે બી સમજવો હોય તો યુ હેવ ટુ અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ ધ ટાઈમ લાઈન, કે ભવિષ્યમાં આવનારા સમયમાં 2 ઘટનાઓ બને છે, એમાં પ્રથમ ઘટના એના પછી બનનારી ઘટનાના પહેલાં બની ગઈ હશે, એવું જ્યારે કહેવું હોય ત્યારે તમે પરફેક્ટ ફ્યુચર ટેન્સનો ઉપયોગ કરો છો. લુક એટ ધ વિડીયો પ્લીઝ.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about future perfect. Remember, this is a perfect tense, so when we're talking about perfect tenses, we're talking about 2 points of time, one of which happened before the other. So if we were to draw a map of the future perfect, it would look something like this. This is the present, here's the future, here's the past. The future perfect talks about an event that happened before another event in the future. This event is completed before this event happened, okay? And sort of talking about the relationship between these two. This happens, then this happens. So
Tom will have already studied chapter 3 before chapter 4.
So So we're talking about Tom again, and whatever it is that Tom is studying, Tom will have already studied Chapter 3 before Chapter 4. This action,
Chapter
the studying
3.
of Chapter 3, will be completed before this action, the studying of Chapter 4. So when you want to construct the future perfect,
Will, have,
you're going to use will have and then the past participle form of the verb, so ed. So
okay, friends, we have to understand a small thing here. When these people say ed, that is en actually. આપણે એને en થી ઓળખીએ છીએ કારણ કે ed છે એ past tense તરીકે આપણે એને recognize કરીએ છીએ different methodologies just પણ ed જે છે that is en form, that is past participle. એટલે same વસ્તુ વિડિયોમાં indicate કરે છે કે will plus have plus verb en form એટલે કે past participle form. Continue the video please.
you get constructions like will have seen, will have eaten, right? And often when you're using the future perfect, because we're sort of talking about two things in relation to each other, you'll often see words like already,
Before.
right? Or before.
Exactly.
These are more words that sort of help to emphasize the relationship between these 2 points in time.
Okay, thank you very much. Now look at the structure of the sentence pattern please. Subject plus will have plus verb plus past participle en form plus object. અને દરેકની સેન્ટેન્સ પેટર્ન સિમિલર જ રહે છે. અહીંયા એક વસ્તુ આપણે યાદ રાખવાની છે, ક્યારે પણ હેઝ નહીં આવે, રાઈટ? અહીંયા હેવ જ આવશે. ઇવન થર્ડ પર્સન સિંગ્યુલર હોય, look at this, third person singular, ત્યારે બી અહીંયા આપણે have મૂકીએ છીએ. We never put has here કારણ કે આગળ will આવી જાય છે. This is the thing you have to keep in mind. Clear? Shall we go ahead? Look at the next slide. When we use the future perfect tense, we think of a future time and anticipate that at that particular time the action will get completed or over. ભવિષ્યમાં કોઈ ઘટના પૂર્ણ થઈ ગઈ હશે એમ કહેવા માટે આપણે પૂર્ણ ભવિષ્યકાળનો પ્રયોગ કરીએ છીએ. Example, we will have reached Mumbai by 6 o'clock tomorrow. Another example, you will have graduated in the year 2012. Okay, read the line. By the time this video is finished, you will have learned how to use the future perfect tense. આ વિડિયો પૂર્ણ થશે તે પહેલા તમે શીખી ચૂક્યા હશો કે future perfect tense નો ઉપયોગ કેવી રીતે કરાય. Isn't this a good beginning? Look at the video.
By the time this video is finished, you'll have learned how to use the future perfect tense. The future perfect tense always uses will, have, and the past participle. If we take the verb do, the simple form is do, the past tense is did, and the past participle is done. So we want to use this word with will and have. By tomorrow, I'll have done my homework. By tomorrow, I'll have done my homework. The homework is not finished yet. It isn't done. But by tomorrow, it will be done. In this example, I put the verb work into the future perfect tense. The past participle for work is worked. Notice that the future perfect tense doesn't change depending on the subject.
Exactly.
I will have worked, you will have worked, he will have worked, she will have worked, it will have worked, we will have worked, you will have worked, and they will have worked. Most people do use a contraction here. I'll have worked, you'll have worked, he'll have worked, she'll have worked, it'll have worked, we'll have worked, you'll have worked, and they'll have worked. By this time next year, he'll have worked 20 years for the same company. Here's the future perfect tense. The year now is 2010, and in this sentence, it indicates that he has worked for 19 years so far, up to this point. But by next year, it will be 20 years. So this is finished in the future. The future perfect tense describes a situation that is finished in the future.
Very nicely summed up by the gentleman કે ભવિષ્યમાં કોઈ ઘટના પૂર્ણ થઈ ગઈ હશે એમ જ્યારે તમારે કહેવું હોય ત્યારે future perfect tense નો ઉપયોગ કરવામાં આવે છે. We are running a little short of time, so let us switch over to the next tense. Look at the slide, please. Future perfect continuous tense. This is a little complicated in comparison to the earlier tenses. The future perfect continuous tense indicates an action which we think will be going on continuously for a given time period of future. Okay? As the note says, આ કાળનો ઉપયોગ સામાન્ય રીતે ડેઇલી કોન્વર્સેશનમાં આપણે કરતા હોતા નથી. આપણે ફરીથી એનું ટાઇટલ વાંચીએ. ફ્યુચર એટલે કે એમાં શેલ વિલ હશે, પરફેક્ટ એટલે કે હેવ હશે, કન્ટિન્યુઅસ એટલે કે આઈએનજી હશે, અને પરફેક્ટ હોય એટલે હેવ અને ઈએન ફોર્મ ઓફ ધ વર્બ એ પણ જરૂરી છે. તો એક્ઝામ્પલ્સ જોઈએ. They will get tired as they will have been traveling all the day. એટલે કે will છે તે ભવિષ્ય, have been that is perfect tense, traveling that is continuous tense, and will that is future tense. So future continuous perfect tense. Look at another example. I will have been writing this report for the entire day tomorrow. Structure. For all the persons, the structure in this tense type will remain same. Subject અહીંયા પણ has નહીં આવે. આપણે અગાઉ વાત કરીએ પ્રમાણે ક્યારે પણ અહીંયા has ના આવે. Subject plus will have been plus verb plus ing plus object. I hope you are noting down the structures as well, friends. જરા ઝડપથી verb tenses અને future continuous perfect tense ને સમજીએ.
Future perfect progressive verb tense. Remember, since we see perfect progressive here, we're talking about these 2 points that are happening sometime in relation to each other. This one is happening first, right? Progressive tells us we have our little arrow of action, which is sort of that continuous action. So we talk about the future perfect progressive. The future perfect progressive tense is going to look something like this.
I will have been studying for 3 hours when you
Well, you've been
arrive.
studying for 3 hours when you arrive. This huge chunk of words right here is the future perfect progressive. This is pretty large and it looks a little complicated, but what's really going on here with the future perfect progressive, I'll draw my little map. This is the present, here's the future, here's the past, right? So since it's the future, we put it here. Here are 2 points in time. They're in the future. The future, I will begin studying at some point, right? And you will arrive at some point. Both of these things in the future. This one's first, right?
This is important.
And this is a continuous action that I'm doing. When the future perfect progressive, the emphasis is on the length of time, sort of the duration right here. So you'll see, as with all the other perfect progressive tenses, this mention of 3 hours, right? For 3 hours, for 6 months. When something else happens. So this when indicates this, right? So there's this amount of time is happening between these two discrete events
Exactly.
in the future. So you don't really see the future perfect progressive that much, but it does exist as a tense in English. So when you want to construct this, so you will have will have been blanking, right? We have will have been plus the ing form of whatever verb it is that you want to use. So this is how you construct the future perfect progressive. If you see it, it's going to be in this form. Remember to keep an eye out for measurements of time, the word when, to help you spot the future perfect progressive, because the emphasis, again, is on the duration, how long I've been studying before the next event occurs.
Okay, thank you very much, friends. We have discussed all the 4 divisions of future tense. અગાઉ વાત કરીએ પ્રમાણે the last tense we discussed, continuous future perfect tense. થોડું complicated છે. Structure of the sentence જો થોડું સમજી લો તો વાંધો ન આવે, પણ as I said earlier કે routine conversation માં tense નો ઉપયોગ બહુ ઓછી માત્રામાં થતો હોય છે. I hope you have enjoyed learning, and that is what one of the motives of this Sandhan lecture series. At this moment of time, I would like to thank YouTube, I would like to thank Wikipedia, I would like to thank Metacaf કે જેમણે આ વિડિયોઝ આપણને ઉપલબ્ધ કરાવ્યા. So we are honored that way. Next time જે આપણું લેક્ચર છે મિત્રો, એ ત્રણેય ટેન્સની વાત આપણે કરી ચૂક્યા છીએ, એટલે કે પ્રેઝન્ટ ટેન્સ, પાસ્ટ ટેન્સ અને ફ્યુચર ટેન્સની વાત આપણે થઈ છે. નેક્સ્ટ ટાઈમ આપણે મોડલ ઓક્ઝિલરીઝની વાત કરવાના છીએ, and that is one of the very important topics of grammar. Okay, so look at the slide, the last one. We are waiting for your feedback. જેમ તમે લાસ્ટ લેક્ચરનું ફીડબેક સરસ રીતે આપ્યું, એવી રીતે આ લેક્ચરનું પણ ફીડબેક આપો. શું ચેન્જીસ કરવા માંગો છો, કઈ વસ્તુઓ ઇન્ક્લુડ કરવા માંગો છો. રાઇટ યોર ઈમેલ at sandhan_biseg@